3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So the support that is needed. And once again, the support your energy will blossom.
This is Nigeria. And you need to give people sense of belonging.
A very good morning and welcome to Leadership Podcast Studios, coming to you from Leadership Last Word Studio. This is Inside Nigeria, and my name is Tion Joseph. This morning, I'll be doing justice to 5 major stories from 5 different Nigerian newspapers. And by the rule of thumb, I'd like to start with Nigeria's most influential newspaper this morning, which is the Leadership newspaper. And on leadership this morning, please follow me. The major story says, in final push for reconciliation, PDP leaders move to pacify Wike orders. You can find this lead story on page 4. And I won't be saying much on this story because David Tucker is in the studio with his guest to do justice to this story. Down there, the first bullet says, party delegation in Oyo to see Makinde. Next bullet says, NWC BOT members to visit Rivers governor. And the very last bullet on leadership this morning says, Wicked open to visit, says aid. Please do well to hop on our website, www.leadership.ng, to see the stories and even much more. Moving briskly on to the next paper for today, I'll present to you the Punch newspaper. And on the Punch today, the lead story says, boundary disputes worsen insecurity. 676 killed in states. And the bullet down there, first one says 444 houses razed in communal clashes in Ebonyi, Kogi, Cross River, others. Second bullet down there says FG addressing 86 cases, security experts, lawyers blame governors. And the very last bullet on Punch this morning says, can the cries rising insecurity? Senate promises 2023 jumbo security allocation. That is all we'll be taking on Punch. Let's move briskly to the next Nigerian daily this morning. And on my list, we have The Nation. And on The Nation this morning, the lead story says, PDP in distress, says Otom. And the one and only bullet we have on The Nation this morning says, Benue governor blames Atiku, Wike rift on leaders. That is all we have for The Nation this morning. Moving on to the very last paper for today, before I hand over to David Tucker and his guest, we have This Nigeria. And on This Nigeria, the lead story says, Senate orders crack down on oil thieves. The first bullet over there says, directs military security chiefs to prosecute saboteurs. Next bullet says, urges judiciary to accelerate hearing on matters relating to economic sabotage. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. This show is daily 10 a.m. Please join us again tomorrow. But don't go just yet, because right after here, there's a full panel discussion by David Tucker and his guests that will be doing justice to these stories and much more. Thank you once again for joining us. My name is Tion Joseph. Do have a great day.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Why will a medical doctor work for 9 months, 16 months, 19 months without getting paid?
But you see how much the cameras are taking from victims.
My thing is, government will always say the best person. Get that, and I think you get that.
The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So the support that is needed. And once again, the support your energy will blossom.
This is Nigeria. And you need to give people sense of belonging.
But you see how much kidnappers are picking for victims.
My thing is, government should all the stakeholders get that, and I think we get that. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
But the support that is needed, and once you get the support, your airline people will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to Inside Nigeria on Leadership Podcast. My name is Taka David, your host. On today's edition, Inside Nigeria is a program where we try to make meaning out of some of the biggest stories that made headlines for the day. And today we need to do justice to some of those stories is Mr. Olayode Abdul Razak. He's a public affairs analyst. And together we'll be trying to make meanings of the biggest stories you've seen on the pages of some of the national dailies. Beyond just giving you the stories, we'll try to tell you the implications of those stories on our own polity and our economy. I will begin with our in-house publication, the Leadership newspaper. Try to look at the biggest story on the paper today. And the lead story is politics. And the biggest story says, in a final push for reconciliation, PDP leaders move to pacify Wike orders. And there are about three riders to that, but we'll not go details to the riders. I want to hear from my in-house guest to see what he can make of these stories. But I don't know if you've read today's edition, but if you've not, I need to give you the riders to these stories. Okay. Party delegation in Oyo to see Makinde. He's one of the people that, seems to be with the Wike faction. And then the LWC, the BOT members to visit Rivers governor. Then Wike says he's open to visit, according to his aide. PDP has been in this turmoil since the primaries. We'll be having all these issues, removal, this. We got to a point, the BOT chairman from the north had to resign. And all this. What do you take of these stories at a time we are preparing for campaigns? The campaigns will open very soon.
Yeah, by the end of the month.
Yes.
All right. That's a very good one. You see, now they call it the final push. But I know quite well there have been seen Wiki, there have been series of meetings, and now they're calling this one final push. I don't know.
This will either make or mar
the whole thing. But you see, what I'm looking at is even Wiki is also confused.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I don't see what Wike will do if Wike did not support PDP. How will he support, or who will he want to support that will immediately change the narrative?
Looking at the media space, there seems to be a romance between Wike and the ruling party.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at. Even with that romance, you will quite all right agree with me that except and unless Wike has to say, okay, I'm part of the ruling party. But you cannot romance that party while you are inside PDP. Do you understand? It's just like now saying, okay, this is PDP. Now, what you are doing, Wike has supporters.
You seem to have forgotten what happened, played out in 2014, the build-up 2014, 2015 elections. According to some analysts, some people were in PDP and worked against the party to enthrone the present ruling party. Yes. Are you ruling out that kind of scenario?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that it's a bit confused, because even then, you know what he is doing now is just a one-man standing with some of his loyalists. You understand? With some of his loyalists. Now, are you telling me now that okay, if in Rivers this is what happened, it will happen like that in what do you call it? In Benue, it will happen like that in Oyo. You see, politics.
These are his.
His main play. This politics has gone beyond to the extent that you just tell the whole state and say this is where we are going. Vote this person. It has gone beyond that. Even some of his aide will still vote PDP. Some of his people will still vote. They may not tell you this is who I'm voting for, but it has gone beyond one man thing that will say, okay, let's just go. This is where we are going. This is where we are facing. It has gone beyond that. You can say this is where we are facing. 100%, you see 40, 50 that will go with you, but there are still some that are remaining. But what I'm saying is that, because why I say it's confused is now you are not. It's like he's standing on the fence or sitting on the fence, the way they put it. You are neither here nor there. You understand? If PDP will look at it and say, okay, go to hell. If PDP say go to hell, what will he do? He will romance APC. Even the APC want to come and romance, it's very difficult for him. Amici is there now. You understand? So many people that have been running this party are there. You cannot just come immediately and say hijack the whole party structure. You can't do that. So he's really at the state where he should just look at PDP and say, no problem, come, let's sort these issues together and move. That's what it. Are
you sure the party is willing to give him the things he's demanding?
You can equally see the one man thing is exactly what is still working. Why will you say this is what you are demanding? You understand? I know quite right. He talked about the issue of the Southwest. Yes. Talking about the Southwest, and everything is going to the North and things like that.
He wants certain things to be for the South. He's not just speaking about Rivers State. He's talking about the entire South.
Yeah, but you have forgotten that the deputy, or they call it, the vice president is from the South. You understand? It's from the South. So I don't know what exactly he's looking for. Some people have said, oh, it's just a matter of personal interest. You know, but we can't say, nobody goes to his mind and say this is exactly what he wanted. But why you are saying this is what I wanted, this is what I wanted, is a little bit you know, some of even the party leaders have said he should just go to hell. So, but I believe if you really want
and you think if the party should ask him to go to hell, that will not have some consequences.
Yes, you see, now it's both sides now. The PDP will have some consequences. Even Wike itself will also suffer it. That's why I said it's confused.
So that's a very tough one for the party to decide.
It's very tough one
really
for them.
Need to see how they can come to
a round table. Definitely, you really need it.
Because at the end of all the crises, of all the battles, they will still resolve it through dialogue.
Definitely. But for me, if I would advise him, he should just go with the party and forget all those things that he's talking about.
So is for him calling for the removal of the party chairman, is he out of place? When the party chairman and the president is from the north, according to his own arguments.
You see, me from onset, this issue of this person is from this place, this person is from this place, it's not something that we should be talking about at this age, at this modern age. It's nothing we'll be talking. Is it competent? Can he do the work? No, he's not talking about his competency. If he's talking about his competency now, we'll say, oh, because he's not competent, because he has one or two deficiencies, good.
But we have a lot of things that are making us not to even look at the competence, but religion, affiliation of maybe tribal.
That is really a problem. It's really a problem. We are still facing. It's really a problem.
How do we get out of the woods?
Until we have a change of mindsets, and until when we are so patriotic, You know, most times everything is about us. To be frank, everything is personal interest. If you look at it, most of what we are doing, 90% is personal interest.
So our politicians are not there for the interest of the general public, but their own personal.
But their own person. Even if you come out for the country, it is people that will tell you that you don't need it. You know this again. You come out, you really want to do what you want to do, but the people around you will tell you, sir, it is not done this way. So, and if you are doing that, they'll just say it seems you are not serious. And they know how to take
talking
you
about the dilemma that the party is in. There's a story on the white box, slightly above the big story there, the lead story, which is talking about the appeal courts not having fund for election tribunals. Does that worry you?
That what?
According to the story here, 2023, appeal court says no fund yet for election tribunal. Does that worry you? When we already, after the primaries, were having this kind of issues, and then at the end of the general elections, you know, we are going to have a lot of cases.
Definitely.
And then the appeal court is now telling you how many months to the election they don't have funds to set up, you know, the various panels that will listen to those appeals.
You see, as much as fun is important, it's worrisome. It's worrisome because there is no way you can do without funding of anything. There's no way you can do without funding. But you see, that is where we are also talking about personal interest. You see, Nigeria has a mindset. Now, you know, immediately you talked about fun. Anywhere you hear fun, somebody somewhere is siphoning that fund itself. Do you understand? It's a mindset that we have seen that is going on in this country. So I think quite right. The first thing, I really wanted to debunk it when you just mentioned fund. I say, those people wanted something again. Then in my mind now, I say, well, that is the mindset of all Nigerians. But notwithstanding, I don't think this is the right time, or it shouldn't be a thing that should have come to the public. For now, they should go underneath.
Don't you think maybe they've tried to discuss it within and it failed?
So they should continue. It should not
fail. Maybe
it's not.
Most times people fail unless you take it to the public, the court of public opinion. You make it a general thing. That's when certain persons will act.
But they fail to
understand. They fail to discharge their duties, and they feel they are doing you a favor by doing their job.
But they fail to understand the emotional intelligence, the space of emotional intelligence of Nigerians. See, sometimes when you hear things, you know, so for us to start enjoying it, those people that are coming after them are trying to say, let them enjoy it for themselves alone.
And nobody cares about the future generation.
Nobody cares about the future generation. And even, you see, not that nobody care, even the future generation doesn't care. You get this now? Even the future generation, they don't even care about their own future.
Are you serious?
Yes, I call them the microwave generation. You know, the generation that really wanted to make it immediately. You know, because they are also involved, they are the one playing it. Those people are just behind the scene.
Don't you think it's the society that is pushing everybody to want to make it?
What is the society? They're still the society. Without us, no society. So we should be able to make the society what we want the society to be, not the society now dictating to us.
That's interesting. So you can follow Leadership social media for more of these stories as we move to the next daily to look at some other big stories. And moving to the Punch newspaper, and the lead story here is on boundary crisis. And they say boundary disputes worsen insecurity. 676 killed in states. That's about, then there are
You can see, and that's why I said even the future leaders are not even ready for their future.
Are we even preparing the future leaders?
Yes, we are preparing them, but we're not preparing them in the right way. You see, we are preparing them. That is the preparation. That is preparation. Showing them the way to do it, the way this is how it is done. To do it the wrong way, you know, to do it another side. This is how to do it. Like for instance, one of the youngest, I think one of the youngest leader, let me just coin that word like that. One of the youngest leader, you know, led, and after the first year or second year, some money remained in the budget. And after doing all things, there's still money. Say, you want to take this money to National Assembly, you have to return those things back. Then they just say, return what? They don't do that. You know, they don't do that. Say, why? No, I have to return it. You know, he struggled with them, and we are told he returned it. Then the next year budget, they start squeezing him, asking questions. You know, before you know, they start cutting off his budget, cutting off the budget. To frustrate him because he wanted to follow what the law is saying. So what I'm trying to say now is that this is how they now train leaders to see and say, this type of thing, you don't send it, you just share it around and you take your own part. It has gone because it remains. What do you tell that type of mentality for young ones that are coming?
A very sad one.
It's a very sad one. It's a very sad one. So until, you see, now, if the problem now is that now, if you fought it, or else his ministry or anything where he's, I don't want to just say his ministry like that. If that thing is not working tomorrow, even the youth will not stay with him. You understand? They won't fight for him. Even if they fight, they will relax later. They started with our student union government. You know, when you go out and protest, shout, they say, who are your leaders? Who are your leaders? They call their leaders in the modern audition, let them go back. Greatest and general students, yeah, we just discuss. And that is all. You understand?
All right.
That is all.
All right.
So it's really pathetic. It's pathetic.
All right. Viewers, let's go for a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters. Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
You're welcome back to Inside Nigeria. And we're doing, with me in the studio, Abdul Razak, we're doing just some of the biggest stories on the national dailies. We've looked at leadership and punch. And as we proceed, we are going to be looking at other newspapers and see what they hold. And then he will try to give you meanings to those big stories. And next on our list is the Nation newspaper. And the lead story here is still on politics. And then this story is attributed to Benue State Governor. He said PDP is in distress. He blames Atiku and Wike rift on leaders. Who are the leaders?
Who are the leaders is blaming them? They are the leaders.
I'm asking you. So looking at, he has said it. He named. I don't. I know him to be part of the people that
He's also
chaired most the major committees, and he's a leader.
He's one of the leaders.
So I don't know if he's even blaming himself among the people he's blaming. But from you, he chaired one of the committees that conducted the primaries.
The primaries, yes.
What is your take on that?
Yeah, you can see if you look at this statement, this statement will come from the angle that says that until and unless there is peace between Wike and Atiku, or Wike and PDP. Because this statement, if you look at this statement very well, you know it's pregnant. This statement is pregnant. Look at it very well. You see that Otom is talking from the angle that there should be resolution. He's talking from the angle that if there is no resolution, he's also going to be in problem. You understand? That is what you are looking at.
He also has an ambition to come to the Senate.
He also have ambition to also be part of PDP. You understand? And those are people that have really, they have really talked down on other political parties to the extent that tomorrow you cannot want to see them. You don't want to see them in that party.
But Nigerian politicians, do they have that kind of integrity that they will say, because I've talked down on this political party, I can't jump to that list?
Yeah, they have and they don't have. You understand? In instances like this, where you want to be relevant, you understand? Instead that you want to be relevant, you can look at it and say, no, I've said so to this government. It is only more time, or most times, where we see them jumping without thinking is maybe, for instance, you have one or two skeletons in your cupboard, and you think when you marry the ruling party, it will be a little bit reduced, or one way or the other forgiven, things like that. But in area of,
should we even forgive somebody because should we even forgive someone who has committed any offense because he's in the ruling party?
You want a no or yes answer?
Even if you, in fact, I want you to even elaborate if it's possible.
You remember quite all right, or you will also know when we go back to the village, when you cause Kasala outside and they are trying to beat you. You run away, you run home. When you run home, your parents will have to cover you up. You understand? Whether you are right or wrong, they will cover you up. So covering up now is for you to now say, come, what is the matter? What did you do? It's not good. Why did you also do this? It's also good to now remind your child and say, stop doing it. But now the situation now is that if you run, nothing stop you from running to the ruling party for me. But if you run to the ruling party, what is now the stake of the ruling? It's just for them to hide you and continue what you are doing, or to say, come, refine you. Do you understand? You can run to them and let them refine you. And that's the best they can do. But if you run to them and they just hid you somewhere and the corruption continues, then they're not helping this nation.
Do we have history of anyone who has been refined so far?
Yeah, that's why I said, when you ask the question, I'm not answering the question based on those people that have done that. You understand?
I'm not calling any name.
Yeah, I know. I did call them too. I did call them too. There are so many of them that are supporting this party today. But to some extent, I see if they are refined, then I will say yes, the party has done well. And I think that is the next thing that they should be doing. Anybody that run to you, refine that person, make him come out of that.
So how do you atone for the past sins? If you're trying to refine someone who has perhaps mismanaged public funds, how do you atone for those such sins?
Yeah, you know that I know quite right. Some people have gone to the ruling party, and some things have been taken away from them. There are so many people like that. In fact, some people went to the ruling party and they still end up in jail. It happens in this country. It happens. But one way or the other.
I remember one of the party chairmen said, "Come and your sins will be forgiven." He said it on national TV.
Yeah, there's nothing bad in that. I said, but only and unless if it is not refined. If your sins are forgiven, what is wrong in forgiving somebody that has done wrong? But if that person understands or the calamity of what he or she has done, and is trying to say, come, I want to come back a new leaf. I want to become a new person. I want to now serve with sincerity. That is the best that we need. That is the best that we need. It's not necessary. What is the essence of punishing? When you punish other people, look, we have been punishing some people, and till date, people still corrupt, people still go steal. You understand? And that's why most times
are we not being selective
in
our punishment?
No, we're not being selective. The problem again is the law. You see, the problem is that's why the law, until and unless you are found guilty, you are still a suspect. Do you understand? And in the process of the law will keep going. It also give it a longer period before you can be able to get justice. See, so many things have.
And then the common man is there suffering. What has been meant, what the government has made provisions for him, someone has sat on it, and the person is now using same funds to defend his or herself in the court, prolonging the judgment. At the end of the day, even when the justice comes, it doesn't even, you don't see it as justice.
You can just see that if you pay so fine or go to the prison, and the money the family are enjoying the wealth. So it's pathetic. But what I say is that let us try as much as possible to turn a new leaf. That is the basis. If we turn a new leaf, if you suffered in the bush to catch a rat, when you are eating, you forget that suffering. So if some people have come and squandered it, then some people have now turned a new leaf and give us relief. We forget that some people have squandered that money.
So we need leaders who will give us that relief.
That relief. Until when that relief comes, we forget. When relief comes, we forget. Seriously, you forget. I know quite well. I went to a country, and the leader has stayed in that country for over 25 years. And I was asking a citizen of that country, said, how long has your king, the new king, how long has your king stayed? I said, I can't even remember. As long as I have my food on my table, as at when due, I don't think about it. So you see, it's so surprising, and that is why if a leader does not do well, if the leader doesn't do well, the span of his tenure looks like it's long. You understand? If a leader does well, 4 years is like just a year.
And you want to extend.
You want to extend it, But now you'll be saying, when is this time now? When is this time?
We're looking for ways to even remove
the person and say, oh, what's happening? Let this person just go. But removing, replacing, removing. You see the way, when you say you remove, and so who next is coming? Who is the next person that is coming?
How would this person even be better than the one you're removing?
When they were talking about
when
they were talking about Queen Elizabeth and the king now, they said this king has been trained. They have been training for the past 70 years. 70 years training. All what he's doing in his life is to rehearse how to become a king. That's what he's doing in his life. You understand? So if we have leaders, and before you are growing, if your child and my child will start letting them rehearse as leaders. Excuse me, you are a leader, stand there. Excuse me, you are a leader, don't do this. Excuse me, you are a leader, forgo this. You are putting that leadership mentality into your children.
We used to have those things in some homes when they'll tell the first child, you shouldn't do this. You're the leader of this house. In my absence, it's you. I don't think we still have such in our homes.
It has lost. We have really married other people's culture, and it's affecting. When they talk about
left home training for the TV.
See the UK, that woman. I kept reading and kept looking at what is the till date they still respect that kingdom. It's a kingdom because I was looking at what is the difference between the kingdom and their politics. Do you understand? They kept bringing it today. Look at our kingdom. All the king and co, they are just under the government, and the government is using
they seem irrelevant.
They seem irrelevant. So those are those things. But that's why our culture is going down gradually, and will not be. They have that culture. Their culture is still working for them,
and they maintain it.
And they're maintaining it. Very important.
All right, we'll look at the next edition, which is our last paper for the day, and is from InsideNIGERIA. Says Senate orders crackdown on oil thieves. This has always been an issue. Nigeria relies almost, even though we are talking about diversification of the economy, non-oil revenue and all these things, people will still tell you we still rely almost 90% on oil to fund our budget. And then the Senate now orders crackdown on oil thieves, directs military security chiefs to prosecute saboteurs, urges judiciary to accelerate hearing on matters relating to economic sabotage. And of course, the act establishing the military does not even give them the power to prosecute. So I don't even know what the Senate is even asking them to do. Who should we even hold accountable for the oil thieves? Because this seems to be an organized crime run by a cartel. Looking at the level of theft that goes on in the Niger Delta, or that goes on around the oil business, you will know that this thing is not something that a petty thief can just wake up one day. It's a $1 million venture. So you can't just get up one day with your crude equipment and start oil. No, it's not done. What is your take on this order?
I like the word you use. It's an organized crime.
I've been to the creeks.
Yeah,
I covered defense, so I've been to the creeks several times with the Nigerian Navy, and I've interacted with a lot of people. So I have.
You see, when you look at this country, you see how powerful this country is. You see how blessed this country is, and you now start asking questions if little things like this, can still be affecting this country. Oil theft is something that we have been talking about for a very long time, and because it is organized, as you put it, because it is organized, it's going to be very, very difficult. And you see, one thing I see again is the democracy, or the way we run our democracy. If I've assisted you to get to power, it's like what Wike is doing today. We'll sit down on the round table and say, let's see this, let's do this. Then I now made you enter. When I made you enter, you must give me some certain percentage or some certain places that I want to be ruling. I want to have power over those places. Do you understand? So after you now become the president or become anything that you want to become, then you now, because you have given this person this position or this place, handle this thing. Okay, all this thing that you want to handle, are you handling it because of development, or you want to handle it because you wanted something that will sustain you? You understand what I'm trying to say now? So sometimes it is democracy that is affecting it. If I want to enter and you say, let me support you, so let me support you.
Democracy has been adjudged world over to be the best system of government. So why is it becoming a problem for us in Nigeria?
It's not. It's even a problem all over the world.
When people are looking for that freedom to express themselves.
Yeah, even
the benefits that comes with democracy, you can't get it in any other system of government.
You're expressing yourself when
politically and otherwise, but you can't do that if you're in any other autocracy.
And what has the expression? What has it changed to? Look at what Ukraine and Russia are doing. Is there no democracy in this world? The world democracy, they will say, okay, stop this thing. If they have interest of the world in them, if they have interest of the world, this world,
they are no longer being democratic.
They no longer be
the invasion means there's no democracy.
There's no democracy.
A particular person is trying to be autocratic.
You can see now. So that's why I said,
if we're being democratic, we'll look for legal framework,
sit down and say this is what even the intervention of all other superpowers, nothing is working. You understand? So where is the democracy? This is democracy. That's exactly what is even affecting us too in this country. Look, when the present government, when they came on power, you see, immediately it's happening. Tinubu now, Tinubu now, Atiku, and what do you call it now? Peter Obi, the three of them now. See, anybody that stood by them to win power. When they win power, the next thing you will do, nobody, you have worked with defense. If you have some experience about defense and co, but because you are not APC, because you are not PDP, because you are not Labour Party, nobody can come and head defense ministry for us. Do you understand? It is those people that worked for the party, whether they are capable or not, they need position. Do you understand? That's where democracy is telling you.
But even if they make you the minister,
yeah,
I think the civil servants should be the ones running their affairs.
Yes.
Should the minister always override the civil servants?
They override. They do override. And that's exactly what is even affecting. They do override. When you talk about budget now, the budget is all in the hand of the minister. You understand?
But his foot soldiers are the civil servants.
Yeah,
he can't go down to do those jobs. So if we're having issues like this, we should be asking the civil servants.
No, but
because you have the PAMSEC who is next to
somebody gave me the tools.
And he's believed to be a professional
in that field.
He's believed to be not knowledgeable.
Of course. So now, if I want to now challenge his power, then I will not be getting the tools anymore. That is exactly what is affecting the civil service. You understand? So both the civil servants and the ministers should have the interest of this country. Not because you have some people are saying they have spent a lot of money in campaign.
So that means the issue is not that whoever is coming to become the minister, we've given a career military persons to
lead those things,
but we still don't get.
What
I think it's just all about you having the interest of the nation at heart, seeking the right advice and working with the right
people. But sometimes you want to work with the right people. Somebody, the person that even say, see, this person worked for me. In fact, some people denounce him because I want you to put him somewhere. But sir, he doesn't have the qualification. I said, put him somewhere. You understand what I'm trying to say? So it has come to the extent that round peg are not in round holes.
So how do we now get out of the woods talking about the oil theft? Because when you hear the figures that are being stolen, and then you hear the Nigerian Navy coming out to tell you these figures can't really be stolen by the artisanal refiners.
2 ways or 3. The first one is to be radical. Most times we need radical leaders. Leaders that even if you have helped me, this issue has to do with the economy. This issue has to do with the nation. Excuse me. Even if you have helped me to get to this place, or because I've given you the permission to hold on to these areas, we need the country to move ahead. So you have to be radical and say, anything I want to come out, let it come out of this. Sometimes some of them have secret with one another. Because you help me, maybe even if it is to forge the voting scripts. You understand? You have all those things holding you up and say, if you do this, I'll show the whole nation. And the whole nation will forget to say, this man now is fighting for progress. But because somebody has brought his past, we want to hold on to his past.
So that we are now being ignorant.
We are not ignorant. So the first thing, leaders should be radical. No matter who is there, no matter who are in charge, go and deal with everybody. That is number one. Number 2 that I see is that, you see, most time again, when you now say go and deal with everybody, who is that person that is going to deal with everybody? Are they not one way or the other interconnected? You understand? They are interconnected to the extent that sometimes you even be sending the person that is in charge to go and deal with it.
So indirectly, you're telling me most times what we hear about oil theft is not even the true picture of what is going on. Because maybe some of the people complain about oil theft are even involved.
They're involved, not maybe they're involved. They're involved. And the third part now is that's why I said, if you look at Nigeria is well blessed. We have agencies of government that can tackle this thing within a twinkle of an eye. When I entered here, the first thing I saw was your production room, or when I saw your engineers. When you see young boys that can sit on the computer and say the president, and they can see everywhere in the world. Those are things that we have NITDA, we have NASDA, we have
most of the young girls you're talking about are jobless, roaming the streets. And when they acquire the knowledge, they don't have anybody to tap to explore then they now use the energy, they deploy it into negative. You now start arresting them for Yahoo.
So you can now see that's why I say Nigeria is well blessed. We have people that can do that. We have agencies that can do that. So if there are agencies and the agencies are there are young boys that knows more about this thing, bring them in, push them and say, now
I remember, was it last year, the Nigerian Navy launched a facility, Falcon Eye, that gives them maritime domain awareness, that enables them to see the waters of the country everywhere. So Nigerian Navy will always tell you there's no way a vessel will leave this country
That they will not see.
that they will not see. They will
This
tell
is-
you.
this is the-
And then, for my experience, when I went to the creeks, they now told me they have 40 houseboats stationed along the creeks. As you're moving in, you must pass through those 40. Without then, and I asked, so with this 40, how do you now? They just laughed. They told me it's not possible unless someone is compromised. If not,
Definitely.
so if these stolen crudes don't leave the country, where do they go to? Who is behind all this?
If they wanted, that's why I
Well,
said
any
don't
day they
crash
parade,
it.
you see them, they go and then pick some young boys and girls who are just struggling for daily bread.
That is it.
And you know that these guys cannot even raise the 10 million naira to even set up an illegal refining site. But when you check, I remember asking, and they told me to take you nothing less than 10 million naira to set up an illegal refining site. And these guys do it, you destroy it today, after 2 weeks, you come back, they set it up. Who is funding those things?
Those things. See, so they are just part of it. In fact, some of the information that they needed, they will get it from them too. You know, they'll just get it from the Navy and all other people. See, just one information. Then they pay for the information. You don't just know how the information got out, and they use the information against the government. So we have to be radical. We have to look at the bad eggs within the government. Then we have to make use of what we have to get what we want. That's our engineers, our agencies are supposed to do those work for us so that we can get to where we are going.
I must get them to believe in the Nigerian project.
Nigerian projects. You know, when some people come and say, you see, change starts with us. But when it starts with us and we are still looking up, there is no change. You understand?
Then the conviction is
Then
not there.
it's
You are not
it's
convinced
there.
again.
Then they say if you cannot beat them, join them. All those type of thoughts. And
that's why the youth who do not want to join them will rather look for a way to leave the country.
Leave the country and go and start doing well over there.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for your thoughts, Mr. Olayode Abdul Razak.
It's a pleasure.
It's good to have you. All right, that's what you can take on today's edition. And my name is Taka David. I'm signing out. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.